on the Saturday following our last shows, it was August 23rd, I get a text, and we'll begin here. I get a text from Rampage Jackson, who happened to be in New York, and asked if I wanted to meet up and do some stuff on his stream. So in case you've missed it, surely you know by now, Rampage does a lot of these sort of 24-hour or 12-hour or whatever it is, like super long, continuous streams for a platform called Kick. And he was in New York and wanted to meet up. And I was like, man, it would have been fun. We could have done something. But I'm in Italy. I'm sorry. Thank God I was not there because, thank God is maybe a little bit strong, but it was that night that the whole thing with his son at this pro wrestling event happened. And then, of course, there he is on his stream reacting to it all. There's an alternate universe where I'm sitting next to him as he's reacting to all of this. And Lord knows I did not want to be a part of any of that. What was so crazy about this Raja Jackson situation, who has now become a household name, and we've talked to Rampage about his son in the past, about his son wanting to be an MMA fighter and whatnot. Obviously, we talked to Rampage a million times. I woke up and I tried my best to not go on social too much, not text. I really did try my best, and I think I was pretty successful in doing so. I was getting texts about, like, what do you think of this Raja Jackson situation, like first name basis. And I was like, who the fuck is Raja Jackson? And what did I miss? And what happened with Rampage's son? And at the beginning, I was like, I'll check it later. I'll go on YouTube at some sort of quiet time. But it just kept coming and getting bigger and more people. And it felt like that weekend, trickling into Monday, Tuesday, it was all anyone was talking about in not only the world of combat sports, but like, I don't know, pop culture. It was crazy how big this story got. And part of me in the moment was like, man, I wish we could react to it. But also, I was appreciating the fact that we had the benefit of being able to step back and just sort of like digest it all and now be able to react to it. I saw some people saying, like, you're afraid to react to this. Afraid of what? Like, I've never even met Raja Jackson. And I'll tell it like it is regarding Rampage. We've had our highs and lows. I have great respect for him. I've enjoyed interviewing him and getting to know him and all this stuff in our interactions. But like, I'm able to think for myself and have my own independent thoughts on the stuff that goes on. And so I have plenty of thoughts on all this, and I'm looking forward to talking to everyone about it. First things first, can I just say, these 12-hour, 14-hour, 24-hour streams, like this culture to me, I will never understand. And fast forward perhaps to a time in 2 years where I'm doing it as well, wearing one of those fucking weird lav mics that everyone holds now. I don't know how this became a thing. They clip it on their hat, they clip it on their shirt, they clip it on their pen. It's like microphones don't exist anymore. You either have to have that one or the big fluffy one or a tiny microphone. That's the era that we live. And trust me, I have a son who's 13, another son who's 11, and I see them watch these guys and they just walk around and they do all kinds of crazy things. And Rampage is doing it, and apparently his son is doing it as well. And I just think that this is so crazy and so dangerous because no one should be filmed for 12 straight hours. No one. Because this isn't the Truman Show. Like we don't have the ability to filter ourselves for that long. And so stupid shit is going to happen and stuff that's going to get you in trouble. And I just don't know if it's worth it. And I also wonder, like, where's the fan base for this? Like, I know kids will watch maybe highlight reel versions of it, but who are the people who are sitting around consuming this stuff? In my day, we liked like a nice 1 hour documentary or a nice 30-minute interview to sit there and you see these streams with the constant chat. Brr, 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 brr. Who's watching this? But what you saw in this situation with Raja Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, who's 25, not a kid, what you saw in this situation was how toxic and how dangerous these streams can be when you don't have the ability to filter yourself and when you are so susceptible to being impacted and affected by the 24-hour stream chat culture that these people are living in. Because what happened was, in case you missed it, and let me just say before I even go into what happened was, this was an absolute shitstorm of stupidity. Like I watched a little bit of it and then I said, I'm not going to get into this. And then I watched all of it over the past 48 or so hours. all the footage, all the reaction, listen to everyone, an absolute shitstorm of stupidity. I mean, just even calling it a shitstorm of stupidity is being kind. And it starts with Raja himself. What he did and the way he acted was absolutely insane. He deserves anything that is going to come his way, and as of now, it's nothing. As of now, he hasn't been charged, he hasn't been arrested, he hasn't been anything. And I don't know if he's going to be, and far be it for me to sit here and be like, that was first degree this. And I've seen people weigh in on like what it is. I'm no fucking lawyer, I'm no fucking officer. What I know is that it was absolutely stupid what he did. But it doesn't just start and end there. Everyone involved was involved in this shitstorm of stupidity. And every single person has some sort of level of blame. He's at the very, very top. My understanding of the situation is that this wrestler, and I love when I'm hearing people talk about these wrestlers who they had never heard of 24 hours prior, like now they're household names. This guy named AJ Mana, the cowboy guy, invites him to this wrestling show called Nox Pro, which I guess is co-owned by the great Rikishi Fatu. And Reno Anaoi, who is part of that whole family, right? Like the whole tribal, chief, the Samoan legacy, Dwayne Johnson, like that's Roman Reigns' last name, Joe Anaoi. I think I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Well, there's a member of the family named Reno, and I think he goes by Black Diamond or something like that. Anyway, never heard of any of these people prior to any of this. But what happens is this wrestler named AJ Mana invites Raja, who I guess is a part of this kick culture, this stream culture. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not sure what his claim to fame is, other than the fact that he's Rampage's son. They call him an MMA fighter. He's 0-1. His last fight was in 2023. He had a handful of amateur fights. I mean, far from really an active MMA fighter. But in any event, and he's called there. He's not called to go to this event. He's not invited to go to this event because he's, he wants to check out a Southern California indie wrestling show, which had, I think, if I'm being kind, 50 people in attendance. I mean, it was as indie and as small time as it gets. And now we understand why. He's called to like give them some pub and to do some stuff. That's why they're following him backstage and whatnot. In any event, he's brought backstage and he's meeting everyone. And he runs into this guy named Stuart Smith, aka Psycho Stu, who has been who's turned into this household name in the aftermath of all this. And there's an interaction between them. And at one point, Stu does the sort of like working punch thing where he holds the head and he slams a beer can over his head. Was it full? Was it not full? Who the hell knows? Clearly, Raja gets annoyed by this. And clearly, Stu, they've called him intoxicated. Who the hell knows? Is anyone tested? I mean, like, how do they know he's intoxicated? But okay, let's just say he is confused by the whole situation because you hear him say, oh, you're not going to sell it? Sell it is a pro wrestling term for, like, if I punch you, if I fake punch you, if I work punch you, you're going to, like, sell it. When The Rock gets a Stone Cold Stunner and he flips like this, he's selling it. And so there's some confusion there. And Raja says, I ain't no bitch, what are you doing? And he's really, really pissed off. Reno gets involved and he's like, yo, man, chill out. He thinks everything's a work. He thinks everything's an angle. I think that whole scene was an angle. They all knew that there was a camera there. So Stu is working. I think Raja is working. I think Reno is working. I think the whole thing is an angle. They worked themselves into a shoot because he's clearly mad, but they all knew that they were on camera. It wasn't like some sort of like, candid camera situation where they didn't know there was a camera on them. Here's where it gets really stupid. Number one, Stu should never have done that. Obviously. If you're doing that to a non-pro wrestler, like, he should know better. But I do believe that Raja knew what he was getting himself into. He knew that he was walking into a wrestling scene. He probably just didn't know that someone would go to that extent. All right, fine. It didn't kill him. It was dumb. He apologized. He extended his hand. It should have been done there. But everyone else, Reno, the promoters, they all get together and they say, yo, man, you'll get your lick back. We'll do an angle now. We'll do an angle out of this. We'll have a payoff here. Payoff for what? There's like, I don't know how many people are watching this thing. 2,000 people, 1,000 people, 6 people. Payoff from what? This isn't WWE Raw. And you're telling a non-pro wrestler that he's going to get his revenge. Well, to him, what does that mean? We're giving you carte blanche to hit the guy? Like, what does that mean, revenge? He's not a part of your wrestling company. Did you explain to him what your definition of revenge was? Clearly not, because we didn't see that in the stream. Fast forward to this AJ Mana character backstage being like, yo, man, get yours. Hit him with a receipt. And if they don't like it, I'll come and help you out. He didn't. But what does that mean? When you're saying that to a non-pro wrestler, you're giving him the green light to just go in and do it the way he thinks it should be done, which is actually hit him? This is pro wrestling. That's not the way it works. So the whole thing was they worked themselves into this shoot. They worked themselves into this real life situation where everything got blended together. Dumb, 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 dumb. Then you have Raja Jackson sitting there just reading the chat, and you see him just festering. And some have called back to the way his dad treats him. Only they know about their relationship. I know Rampage. I know he could be, someone who riles you up. I know that he could, crack jokes, but that's a father-son relationship. I don't know what they're really like behind closed doors. Who the hell knows? But you see the kid getting riled up, egged on, to the point where he's like, I'll show you guys. Oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to rough him up. He should have never been allowed to even be sitting there anymore. Once he said that he was pissed, and then he was so excited to accept the offer to get revenge, they should have been like, no. We're not doing this. This is crazy. This guy doesn't know how to pro wrestle. He doesn't know what a work is. What kind of revenge is he trying to get? Revenge for what? For a misunderstanding? But they let him sit there, and fester, and no one even told him what to do. They just let the guy walk into a ring. And you see when he walks into the ring, finally, it's painful. It's sad to watch him read all that stuff, because you see not a kid, a young man just boil over. And he goes into the ring, and you see Stuart Smith doesn't fight back. He lets him pick him up. He's a big ass guy. He lets him pick him up, and he slams him right on his head. And that's where everything goes off the rails. And then he lands like 20 or so punches, repeated. I mean, it looked like he was trying to kill him, and no one stops it. Finally, like some goofy looking referee runs into the ring, and then some other people stop him, and he's doing everything in his power not to be stopped. Finally, they get a hold of him, and then someone pins Stu. Like, they just keep going. This freaking indie, the indiest of indie promotions, they allow someone to actually pin the guy who at that point, they don't even, might be dead. And you find out about all the injuries and the choking on the teeth and the blood and the bone breaks and the brain damage and all this stuff. He has been released. Seems like he's going to make it. Who the hell knows? But it was just one stupid action after the next. And there's only one criminal action, potentially, and that's what Raja did. He pummeled a guy on a stream and then wasn't even smart enough to be like, yo, let's stop the stream. No, he keeps it going. I ain't no bitch. No one's going to do that to me. He's taking phone calls about this. People are cutting promos on him. Stop the fucking stream, man. End it. What are you doing? You're ruining your life. Now, I don't know why there haven't been any charges pressed, but to me, I saw people doing all these types of breakdowns. This thing was pretty easy to digest and break down. It was one stupid action after the next. Now, you can rank them. Raja's at the very top. The promoters who let him, after he got slammed with the can, who let him do that and didn't explain to him that, yo, what we do is not real, scripted, they're next. The AJ guy who egged him on, he's next. Stu, for kind of, he deserves some level of blame, but nowhere near the top of the list. Every single person. There was no adult in that room. There was no smart person in that room. It was embarrassing. Now this company has lost its WWE ID affiliation, and who knows what the repercussions are going to be for the Jacksons. For Stuart Smith, for this AJ Mana character, for the promotion in general. Are they going to continue? Who the hell knows? But every single person there acted like a complete buffoon. It was embarrassing to watch. And there was a part of me that just couldn't believe how big this story got. Like, you're seeing all these big names talk about it, break it down. And I don't know if it was just like everyone was bored, there was nothing else big going on, or if it was just so shockingly dumb to watch someone do that. And then to watch the sequence of events play out on a stream in front of us, from the backstage interaction to the interaction with Mana, to him sitting there and reading all the comments, to him just waltzing in the ring and absolutely coming this close to killing a person, 20 straight punches, losing control, losing his mind. Why he lost his mind, why he lost control, was he embarrassed? I don't know. But the idea that he was like so happy with getting his revenge after he was hit with the can and no one explained to him what the actual pro wrestling version of revenge is, the fact that they allowed that to happen, all those people shouldn't be involved anymore. It's like these wrestlers get so caught up in this whole world, this carny world of work and shoot. Oh, you're going to sell, you're not going to sell. Like, what the fuck were you guys doing? And why was it all streamed? And why did they allow him? I mean, there's just so many dumb things. But I just, as I was sitting there watching the reactions to all of this and to watching it all play out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really dumb. Is this why people hate pro wrestling? Is this why people hate combat sports? Is this why people hate all the things that we talk about here? Surely this is not like a good example of it all. We know that. We know that within it. But from the outside, you're like, look at these buffoons. Look at these barbarians. Look at what they're doing. It was absolute lunacy. I don't know what repercussions Raja is going to face, but he is going to have to face repercussions. Whether it's, via the court of law, whether it's via the police, whether it's via the streets, I don't fucking know. But that was crazy, man. You incriminated yourself. You filmed yourself beating the living daylights out of another man. And then you filmed yourself telling the world that you were going to do it, and then you filmed the aftermath of you justifying it. What? Absolute lunacy. And I saw some people trying to defend him, and I could understand. You'd be like, oh, look, he shouldn't have been hit. Two wrongs don't make a right. I'm sorry. The empty beer can doesn't mean that you almost die. It doesn't work that way. That's just the way it works. There are different levels. That's just the way it works. Rick, what did you think of all of this? You're usually the bastion of sense and sensibilities. What did you think of all of this?
First of all, appreciate that. I'll take that title. Exactly what you felt. Like a heinous act, truly. Like what went on here was unforgivable, inexcusable. There have to be consequences, right? There have to be repercussions for this. And then as far as I am also like curious like how this is going to play out legally, what the fallout from all this is going to be, because it seems like all we're seemingly getting is updates in terms of Stu's health. But not necessarily anything on the Raja Jackson side of it, which I'm wondering. Although we do get Rampage every once in a while dropping little updates and talking about the situation and all those things. But don't know where this is going to go. But ultimately, would not be surprised if the repercussions, if the penalty for this is very severe. And like you, I was also a little bit surprised by how viral this went. Like, certainly, I think this is shocking video once you see it, and that's probably what led to the virality. Everybody kind of sharing it and going, holy shit, did you see this? Also, I think because it was in the pro wrestling world, and there's kind of this, is it real? Is it fake? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Kind of then takes hold, added to the fuel to the fire and kind of helped the virality as well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, these are people's lives on the line, and it is a good reminder that even though this is quote unquote fake, right? This is the perfect example if you want to talk about like pro wrestling being quote unquote fake. That like sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is more than a storyline, and this person's life is truly impacted. But yeah, unforgivable act. Curious what the repercussions are going to be, and glad that Stu seems to be at home resting now.
Are you surprised that nothing has happened to Raja?
Yes, extremely surprised.
Yeah.
Or that we don't even hear whisperings of something proceeding or something happening, right? What is going to be the next step on his side of things? We continue to get the updates on Stu. We have not heard much of an update in terms of what is going on with Raja. Maybe this will require some kind of like, legal action to be pursued before something happens. I'm kind of curious on how this all plays out, but I am surprised that there hasn't been an update on that front.
Okay, so speaking of updates on Stu, this is the latest. They posted this yesterday on his Instagram. Stewart has been released from the hospital and is now home resting. He sustained a serious head injury and was unconscious upon arrival at the ER. His injuries include trauma to both the upper and lower jaws, a laceration to his upper lip, and a fracture to the maxilla bone, which unfortunately resulted in the loss of several teeth. He has a long road of recovery ahead, but he remains in good spirits despite everything he has been through. We are deeply grateful for all the love and support we've received during this time. Thank you to everyone who has contributed in any way, whether through monetary donations, food, flowers, or gifts. Your kindness means more than words can express. From the bottom of my heart, thank you with love and respect, Contessa Patterson and Stuart Smith. Assuming Contessa is his partner. He is a former, I believe, military vet. Is he a Marine? Former Marine? Definitely a former military vet, or just a military veteran, I should say, who it had been reported dealt with PTSD upon returning from serving and got into pro wrestling, and just kind of seems to do this to make his life better. I'd never heard of him, and I think most of the people commenting on this from the world of pro wrestling hadn't heard of him. It's not the biggest promotion, despite the fact that Rikishi is involved in some way, shape, or form. He wasn't there. I don't think he deserves any of the blame for the actions on that day, but it was just sort of like a glimpse. If you've ever watched Beyond the Mat or any of these documentaries, Louis Theroux did one, like, indie wrestling is pretty rugged, and people got a bird's eye view at how sort of rough it is. They're all just sitting back there drinking beer. It's not something that should be exposed in a way. If you're trying to like understand pro wrestling, it is the sort of like, the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. But it also isn't the type of place where if you're doing like a celebrity angle, if they're doing a celebrity angle where Jelly Roll is showing up at WWE SummerSlam, there are people there who are going to train him on what to do and how to do it the right way and who are going to protect him. A promotion like this who's like, hey, kid off the street, and again, 25 years old, not a kid, but I'm just speaking, come here and like get your revenge and not explain to him what that actually means. There's a difference, and you saw the difference. Now, Rampage himself, in case you're wondering how he feels about all of this, has posted a couple things, but the most recent one I thought was the most telling. He posted a very long statement on his Instagram, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. You've seen it. You can go. He's talking more about the reaction, and I know. And by the way, let's call it like it is. Like, there's been a lot of, I can't even imagine the racist stuff that has been thrown his way and his son's way. One should have nothing to do with the other. Like, get that out of here. The color of his son's skin, Stu's skin, like none of that should have anything to do with anything, but I'm sure it got to that, and it felt like some of the commentary that I was reading, certainly in the comment section of some of these videos, felt a little bit uncomfortable. That being said, that has nothing to do with the actions that we saw on camera. To me, what was most interesting was in the comments of this post, he's writing to people saying, I think that my son should go to jail. He's saying that. He should get punishment for his part, but everyone else should too. Not trying to justify anything. Maybe you can't read. If you can read, I agree with you, meaning in response to his son being punished. But why are people threatening my other kids over this shit? Like, I'm sure this has been a nightmare, and I'm sure it's gotten really ugly. But Rampage himself thinks that his son should be reprimanded. Now, they seem to have a very interesting relationship, and videos have been made on this. That's for them. That's their personal life. Like, I don't think we should sit here and dissect the relationship between Rampage and his son, but that's a mess of a situation. And none of us really know how we would react if we ever watched our kid almost kill a man live on some kind of stream, on some sort of platform. And some are trying to say this is Rampage's fault, and he abused him to the point. I don't know. All I know is what happened in that 2-hour stream. And it was very dumb. And once he got hit in the head with the can, They should have said, yo, man, let's do this some other time. You're clearly upset, and rightfully so, but let's just maybe take a breather. The last thing they should have done was, no, let's turn this into something. They were all trying to get over. They were all trying to become famous. They all saw a camera there. They're not used to cameras being there, whether there's 6 people watching, 1,000 people watching, 2,000. I don't know how many people are watching these streams. And they all tried to turn it into something. What they failed to do was explain to the guy who was going into the ring that, hey, this is a work. This is scripted. You're not actually supposed to try to kill the guy. They failed to do that. What they did was they let him sit there for 2 hours or an hour and read comments from God knows who, 12-year-olds saying, are you really going to do it? You don't have the balls to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. Watch me do it. Oh, I'm going to do it until they pull me off of him. I'm going to kill this guy. Dumb. Dumb. GC, what did you think of all of this?
Yeah, can't really add anything to what you guys said. I mean, it was a deplorable act. I'm honestly shocked that 10 days have gone by now, and with how much video evidence there was, that nothing has happened to Rampage Jackson at this point.
I wonder if anything happens, period.
It would be hard to imagine that something wouldn't. I don't know if there's like waivers, forms, things that can clear him of legal charges that were signed backstage or something for him to take part in this. But with all of the evidence from, I mean, the beer can at the beginning, all the way through to him having a meltdown on the side of the street hours after the incident took place, like everything is on tape. I mean, to the point where he's sitting ringside threatening him, saying how he's gonna fuck him up, everything like that. It just feels like he incriminated himself by the kick stream.
Yeah. Oh my God. What is up with these kick streams? Like, why?
I don't know. And the fact that like Rampage is on it, and that's how he finds out. And his first question is like, is he going to get banned from Kick? And
so weird.
He's streaming the next few nights, and people are asking him about it, and he's getting upset about it. It's just like maybe hold off on the Kick streams for a few days.
Are people getting big money for this? What's going on? Like, why are they doing this?
I mean, naturally, fans feel like they're closer to these people, right? Because if you were, it's the next evolution of reality TV, right? Reality TV was supposed to be like, we're letting you into our lives. This is real. Then people started to realize there was a sheen, right? There was this barrier between them and reality TV, because reality TV was still kind of like artificial reality. On a live stream, you're there with them. It's why people watch our show. Like, people want to be with us in this moment. That is that to the nth degree. They are with Rampage Jackson as all this is playing out. They are with Rampage Jackson as he's learning about this. It is. Did
you guys know Rampage Jackson was a figure in this world?
No.
What's that movie? Like, not the Truman Show, the other one with Matthew McConaughey, where his life is filmed. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Is it?
What's the one? That's like, I never thought that we would get to this point where people were interested in what someone was doing in their kitchen just to pass the time.
Yeah, like this is something that has like passed me by. I guess I'm not of this generation, but that's something I'll never consume. Where like it's just them walking around a mall or at a bar or something like that. But people are clearly watching it, and you can see by the massive stars in this field, like the Speeds and the Kai Cenats.
Ed TV. Anyone ever see Ed TV? It's sort of like the lower rent version of Truman Show. Did this reach Mykonos? Did this story reach Mykonos, Pizzi, or were you saved from all of this?
No, I mean, reaction similar to you guys. Like there's lads reaching out to me who have not even a cursory interest in combat sports, saying, "Look at this. Have you seen this?" Like the ways it came at me was very strange. Like people, again, who I'm saying, like, never really talked to me about combat sports. They've heard about this. They heard that this guy is related to Rampage Jackson, and they're on to me about it. And then, like, you're on Instagram and X, and they have that kind of search thing, when you go into that, and it's just showing you random videos. I felt like for 2 days, that's all I was seeing. It made me feel really old, honestly, like, because I'm listening to you guys talking. I thought GC was going to hit me with some info about this Kick stuff, because I don't know anything about it. I'm aware of the brand Kick. I'm aware that people do these streams, the likes of Speed and all those guys have been tremendously successful with it. But there is such a tragedy to me about this young man. Raj is about 25? Is that correct, Ariel?
Yeah.
He's a 25-year-old man sitting there looking at his phone. And I'm just based off what you said earlier, Ariel, your son's young teens probably onto him in this chat, and he feels a need to react to that it's a very 2025 thing. You know, it's taken us time to get our heads around it. I will say, like, everything about it kind of sickens me. Everything about how he did it, like the idea that he's getting revenge. Like, this guy is allowing you to pick him up because he thinks you're in a wrestling match with him. You're not doing this. He's not trying to stop a double leg here. He's allowing you to pick him up on his shoulder and you're dumping him on his fucking head. You know, he's out cold and then you're doing that. Like, that could be at the very highest level of assault in terms of what he did there. It's just a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. Again, I've seen the videos with Rampage, and look, I'm a 38-year-old man. Rampage is an older man than I am. Him in this world is very bizarre to me too. And the idea that he's reacting to these things, as GC was talking about there, in real time, it's just a really, really, it's a really strange thing. And it does feel like something out of Minority Report, or as you're saying, Ed TV or something like that. It's like technology meets reality, entertainment meets a devastating situation. It's a lot of things. It's a lot to unpack. And honestly, like we, as you said, we were going away. We had this booked for a long time. These weeks of engagement. I just thought it was entertaining, the amount of people that thought, like, you know, you woke up on Monday morning and said, "Lads, we aren't doing it. This Rampage Jackson thing. I'm going to take the week off." You know, unbelievable.
It's shocking to me that there wasn't a single person involved in that whole room, in that whole situation, who was like, "Yo, man, this isn't a good idea." Like, who was that dude filming all of this and who just sat there and like, who is that guy?
And when Raja's having a meltdown afterward, as like he's still talking shit to the wrestlers as they're leaving, and he's like, "Hey, man, we need to go. Like, we need to get out of here." It's not like, turn the camera off.
Yeah, man. Turn the camera off.
And then he's getting a call, and it's just like, "Yo, man, we can't wake him up. He's completely unconscious." And Raja's just like, "My bad."
Yeah,
it's just
my bad. I ain't no bitch.
Seemed to have zero remorse for it.
Crazy.
Just like, yeah, I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to let this guy push me around by throwing a beer can on my head and then retaliating by almost killing him.
The level of stupidity that was exemplified was really shocking. And so, like, I'm watching this from afar, and we're not in the mix of the show, and I'm like, what alternate universe are we living in where this is the top story and that people are acting this way? Shocking. Really, like, I don't want to make it into this whole, like, it's a sad commentary on our society, but holy shit, though. Can you imagine?
It fucking is.
Like, watching this from another universe and being like, is this what they're doing over here? What the hell?
The idea that the camera is on this guy as he's seething, reading these messages is just bizarre. Like, everything about it, it's like,
someone, as he was reacting, someone should have called him and been like, "Yo, man, don't do it.
Get the fuck off this stream.
There was
you
no,
need to relax."
Yes, don't do it. Because what they're saying is revenge isn't your version of revenge. You're not actually supposed to kill the guy. You're not actually supposed to dump him on his head. There's 50 people in attendance at most. What are you doing? This isn't Monday Night Raw. Get out of there. Are you out of your mind? What? Oh my God. The whole thing just absurd. If they wanted to turn it into an angle, after he got hit in the head with the beer can, he should have left, build it up for a few weeks saying, "I'm going to get mine unused," have a match on your kick stream and call it a day. Not sit there and dump the guy on his head and then freaking almost kill him and have him choke on his blood and his teeth. What? Are you out of your mind?
It feels like the plot of a movie. Like, it does feel like the plot of a movie. You know, if you start a movie like this where this guy's streaming and everything goes, it went about as wrong as anything has ever gone. It's an absolute tragedy.
Okay. Is there anything else that we have to say about this? I mean, it was so funny to me being like going on Twitter and being like, "You're afraid to talk about this." What do you mean afraid to talk about this? I'm having my 5th gelato of the day. What? I mean, have you had affogato over there? It's unbelievable. I went to this one place, by the way, where I think I sent it to you guys. They put the affogato in the cup and then they make like a little hole for it. Like here in America, they just have the ball and then they pour. No, they made like a little hole for it and then they pour. It was unbelievable. Little pistachios on top. That's what I was doing. Sorry.
You sent it to Action? Did you send one to Action? The
no,
genuine.
I didn't send it to Action, but
come on, mate.
Yeah, I probably should have.
He would have liked that. He would have loved
that. My only thing to say to bring it back to this is,
okay, sorry.
It's funny to transition from that to what I'm about to say.
Let's go from gelato, back,
which is
incredibly serious subject.
While the drama of this is interesting and everybody wants to hear everybody's takes and all these things, there is a young man who did something horrible that is going to have to potentially pay consequences for this and to remember him. And then there's a victim of this pretty like obvious crime, who is now recovering at home, but has gone through some health issues as a result of this. Like, the drama is tasty. Everybody wants to get a piece of it. Everybody wants to be involved in it, but there are real like human consequences and
It's
things.
very
that
sad.
and it's not just like entertainment. It is not just for our
not at all.
entertainment. And people are kind of, I feel like people are picking sides on it and, wanting to do that. Do remember that there's human beings involved here, and it's quite a serious and horrifying scenario.
100%. It breaks. By saying this, I'm not condoning it. Just let's be very, very clear. But when he's walking afterwards with blood on his shirt, saying like, "I'm not going to be someone's bitch. I'm tired of the disrespect," it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because he is a young man who maybe has been searching for his father's approval. Who knows the stories that people have made up? But like, the guy just did something really, really bad in front of a lot of people, and it was about to go super viral, insanely viral, and it felt like you were looking at someone who was justifying murder. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, it feels, I've never watched someone murder another person, thank God, but it feels like that's what someone does in that situation who just snapped. He snapped. He absolutely snapped. Why did he snap? Was it just about the beer can? Is there more there? Is there, Rampage just talked about him suffering from a concussion for just a couple of days ago in sparring. Who knows? I've never met Raja. We've talked to Rampage about him a couple times, about his son getting into MMA. That's all I really knew. I don't even know if I knew his name, but it's very, very, the whole thing is very sad. I think it's most sad when you think of a guy like Stuart Smith who has to deal with all this. It's sad when you think of what this guy, Raja, did to ruin his life. The rest of them are just dumb. There's nothing sad about the rest of them.
And somebody in this MMA community, this fight community, and Rampage Jackson that we all have a lot of affinity for is now dealing with this situation as well.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of pieces to this that are a lot more serious than the drama part, and you said it perfectly. Like, it's heartbreaking in all regards. And we need to remember that.
And the racism is gross, but I saw a lot of it.
Using this as like a springboard for racism is the laziest, dumbest, stupidest shit you could possibly do.
All right, so that's that, and I'm sure there's going to be more. We'll talk to Tom Lawler about it because I'm curious on his thoughts. He weighed in. He was on Wrestling Observer Live, but I want to talk about some of the other things that happened as well.